Welcome everybody to our Greene Acres. If you are new here, my name is Teresa. Today's video I'm going to take y'all along as I create 10 projects for spring and summertime. Okay y'all, let's get started. The first project is going to be this frame that I got at a yard sale, and I think I paid $5 for it. So it has beautiful ornate feature to it, so I think this is going to make a gorgeous piece of wall decor. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over it with a couple of layers of white linen chalk paint, and then I'm going to take a piece of Dollar Tree foam board, cut it down to the size of my frame, and then I'm going to cover it with a piece of drop cloth. Yeah, I'll see me do this in a lot of projects, but I just take my hot glue and I go around all the edges and I glue it down. So now I've got a great background. Now I'm going to use the Painterly Florals, the IOD transfer book, and it's got 3 different kinds of flowers in it, and it's one of my favorites. So I'm going to take these blooms, and I think these are either roses or peonies. But I'm going to take them and I'm going to start in the center of my foam board and work out, because what I want to do is I want to create and design a bouquet of these. So I just started in the center. I placed down my first stem, and then I'm just going to work out. Now I'm just going to go and I'm going to take various blooms. Now this book is awesome because it gives you different stages of blooms. It'll give you some that aren't as bloomed out as much, and then it'll give you some that are really full. It gives you a lot of leaves, so you can go in and fill in with different kind of leaves, once you get your bouquet done. And then also it gives you different kinds of stems. So it gives you some short ones, it gives you some long ones. And you can also cut your stems down to size. So just have fun with it. So once I started in the center, like you can see, I'm just working my way out, and I'm placing my stems as I go, and I'm just kind of overlapping them just so they, will kind of come together. And this was a fun project, but I'm not going to lie to you, at first I just kind of complicated it because I couldn't decide how I wanted to design it. But once I got started, and like I say, just start in the center and just kind of work your way out and take your time with it. But once I got started applying them, then it got really fun, and it wasn't as complicated as I thought it was going to be. But, I just added as many blooms as I felt like I needed to cover my foam board, and then I just went over it, each time with my little transparent sheet, and that way it makes your transfer adhere to your base really well. I went in, I added some of the leaves that they provide for you in the transfer book. I just cut out separate little leaves, and I kind of placed them around just to kind of add a little bit more fullness in my bouquet. And then I also added some French wording at the bottom. This French wording is just a piece I had left over from a previous project, and I think this come out of the bouquet transfer book. But y'all, I think this turned out so pretty. And I also added that little stem of rosebuds that is in the transfer book also. So I hope y'all get this transfer book and make a project like this, because once I got started, this was so much fun, and now I think it just made a really pretty piece that I can set out for spring and summertime. I also wanted to give you a little bit more inspiration and ideas for this wall decor. You could also add a bow or some ribbons to it to give it more of a 3D effect. Okay, the next project, I'm going to upcycle a project that I've already worked on. This was a shovel, and I did a video on this a while back, but my mother gave me her old shovel. So I chalk painted it, and I displayed it in another video of how I decorated it. But this summer, I'm going to add a little bit to it. I'm going to add a transfer to it, and this come out of the Brocante IOD transfer book. And the Brocante transfer book is another really good transfer book to get if you're struggling on which one to get, because it's overwhelming, like which one do I get. They're all good, but I think I've went through 2 Brocante books because they have so many great French country and shabby chic style transfers in it. But I'm going to add one of those to my shovel, and now I'm just going to decorate it and style it for you. I'm going to show you real quick how I added a bow to it. I just looped and tied a piece of cream colored burlap, and then I took 3 strips of burlap and I just piled them on top of each other, and I'm just going to tie them in the center of that bow with a piece of twine, and that is that easy. And that's the bow I made for it. It just kind of made it, give it a little rustic look. And the little plaque that I attached to it that come out of the Target dollar spot a couple of years ago, it was $1. So I just tied that on there. I thought it had a great little theme to it as far as gardening and planting, to put on my shovel. Okay, the next project is going to be a pair of sunglasses. Now you can pick these up at yard sales and thrift stores, or you may just have some old ones around the house. I got these at a yard sale, and I also did a video a couple of years ago, or maybe last year, where I put vintage pictures in them, and I'll link it below if you want to go out and see some more ideas with sunglasses. But all I did was I spray painted my sunglasses white. Then I'm just going to show you how easy it is to add some transfers to your sunglasses. Now you can add anything transfers to your sunglasses that you want to. You can even put your stamps on them. Just get creative with the lenses and decorate them any way you want to. But this is such a fun project, and just, and these are just fun if you set these out in your summer vignettes. And my friend Sherry over at Canterbury Cottage, she just did a video a couple of videos ago, and I'm going to link her channel down below also. But she did a cute little project with sunglasses. Okay, the next project is going to be a little wooden napkin holder. Now I got this at Goodwill, and I think I paid $1.99 for it. It's real wood, but I thought this would really, paint well. So I painted it with a couple of coats of white linen chalk paint, and I went around the edges and I distressed it. Now I'm going to add a transfer to it, and I'm going to show you what happens sometimes if you do not seal your paint before you put on transfers. Sometimes I don't seal and I have good luck with the transfers, but sometimes you do need to seal. That's what happened. It lifted off my paint. So I just wanted to leave this footage in here just to show you sometimes you do need to put a top coat over your paint, let it dry really well, then apply your transfer. But I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to take some of these little wooden emblems. You get 4 to a pack of these on Amazon, and I'm going to have these linked in my Amazon store. And I just go over it, I just applied it with wood glue. I let it dry, then I'll go around it again with some white linen chalk paint, just going around my emblem and my edges just to make it look like it is, made into the little napkin holder. Now, when I style it, I'm going to show you both sides, because I think both sides will work. Even with the little transfer failure, it just makes it look old and chippy. So just want to show you sometimes failed projects, just go with it. We always go for that distressed worn look, and I think that's, what it looks like. So now we got a cute little napkin holder we can set out, and it looks a little French country and a little shabby chic. Okay, y'all, the next project is going to be, this is a galvanized tub, and I got this at Walmart a few years ago. Now, I've used it galvanized, but now I'm going to upcycle it and make it a little bit more summery looking. So I don't remember how much I paid for it. I think I got it in the clearance section at Walmart, so I only paid a few dollars. But I spray painted it with a couple of coats of white chalk paint. Then I'm going to take the lovely ledger. This is a transfer I'm going to have in my Amazon store, and it will be under transfers. This one's got a lot of like French wording on it. It's got some of the little bees, and it's a big transfer, but I'm going to take pieces of it, and I'm just going to take one of the pieces and I'm going to apply it to my bucket. Because what I want to do is I kind of want to make this little tub now, you know, just something that I can put florals in for the summertime and just kind of display it. So I'm just going to go now with the little tool that they give you, apply it, and then, you know, I just kind of worked around the front. I did not put anything on the back of it. I just kind of went, you know, to the area where the handles were, and then I quit. So, and then I cut that little transfer in sections. Since I was working around that curve, it just, it was easier to do it. It's, you know, just to cut it off and do it, you know, by each section. So now I've got a really pretty little French country, shabby chic looking, you know, container now that I can put different things in and display them. And you know, I can use this all year round, not just for summer.
You don't get out what you're putting in. All your hopes and efforts are all in vain.
Okay, the next project is going to be another frame. Now this one I purchased at a yard sale and I paid $1/4 for it. So it's brown, and I'm going to chalk paint it white, and I'm going to distress it. And as you can see, it distresses really well because it's got some rough texture to it, so I didn't really even have to distress it with sandpaper. I just kind of lightly went over it with my paint. So now I'm going to cover this glass with drop cloth, and I'm going to do it just like I did in the previous project. You just want to go around with your hot glue and just glue it down on all the sides. And once you get it, you know, on, then I'm going to add some transfers to it. Now I got the inspiration for this sunflower and lavender design from Sonnet's Garden and Bloom. And make sure, I'm going to leave a link to her channel down below, but she did a beautiful black cabinet and put this design on it, and it was gorgeous. So I wanted to, so that's where I got inspired to do this design. But this is from the Painterly Floral transfer book also, the transfer book that I used in my previous project. It also has, like I told you, sunflowers and lavender sprigs. Now, these transfer books go a long way. I've made a bunch of projects with just one transfer book. So you get, you know, a lot of transfers for the money. So I'm just going to apply the really pretty, you know, they give you some really good stems for the sunflowers. So I just, you know, transferred my stem on, and now I'm going to put my sunflower, and it has different sunflower blooms to choose from. You can get the ones that bloom from the side. They have some that, you know, bloom the front, you know, forwards. So you can just have your pick of what kind of bloom you want. But I thought this one was beautiful. So I applied that, and now I'm going to just take some of the little lavender sprigs. I cut them in half because they're long, and, you know, you can reuse the other part of these on another project. And so I'm just going to put my lavender down there. And now in this area, if you didn't want to put the lavender sprigs, you could always put some kind of French wording. You could also get your stamps out, and you could put some stamps down there in that area. Now I'm going to put it back into the frame, and I'm just going to dab some hot glue in each corner and then just put it back, and it'll secure it in the frame really well. Now, once I get it done, I'm going to show you too how you can just kind of beef up your picture frames. If you've got a good enough frame that has a good border around it, you can add transfers to the border of your frames. And so this one, I just took a little bit of French wording. You know, I always have little pieces left over from previous projects of my transfers. So I just added some wording to the top and also to the bottom. And that just added another little bit of detail to this really pretty little summer wall decor.
When you've lost everything, does it all become for granted with a wedding ring? Oh, there must be more. There must be another way. There must be conscious, different things in different ways. There must be love. There must be a reason and a little bit of faith.
Okay, y'all, the next project is one that is so much fun to do, and that is windows. And again, I have another video of another window I did like this, and I will link it down below. But But I'm going to add a transfer to this window. What you want to do is take a window, and I got this at a yard sale for $2, and you want to paint the back of it. So, because we're going to apply transfers to the front, you can paint it on with paintbrush, but in this one, I've spray painted it. And this is the transfer that I'm going to use for it, and I'll have it linked in my Amazon store also. I'm going to use all the sections of it except the one that you see on the right. I'm not going to use it, but I will use it on an upcoming project, so stay tuned. But I'm just going to use the parts that will fit on my window, and I just went and I cut them with a little razor blade where the panes of the window were, and then you will just, I'm just going to work it over the glass. Now, if you want to work it over the window pane and not cut it, you could also do that. So I just lined up each section on my window and went over it with my little scraper and applied it. And it's that easy. And like I say, this is the second window I've done. And if I can find any more, I'm going to do some more. But Amazon has a huge selection of really pretty transfers also. And I have a lot of them linked in my Amazon store. So if you need some transfers, some larger ones, maybe for a window piece or a furniture piece or just a big one to cut apart and use for smaller projects, just make sure to go out and check out my Amazon store, and they'll be under the transfer section.
I was just a little girl when my mama used to say, ooh, happiness requires work every day.
Okay, the next project, I'm going to upcycle a little cabinet that I purchased. This was at a yard sale and I paid $2 for it. Now, I did spray it with shellac clear sealer before I got started to avoid any bleeding. And then I'm going to show you a new sprayer that we got. I think this is called the Critter. And my friend Jackie at Ruth and Ruby, she uses this and she had highly recommended it. Y'all, this I think is in like the $30 range, so it's, it's very affordable, and you just basically, it comes with a jar, but you can use mason jars, so you can just, when you get done painting with it, all you have to do is just put a lid on the little jar, and you can just store your paint, so you don't have to clean out the bottom of it. So we love that part. We did add some water to the paint to kind of thin it down. We're using some paint that we got at Lowe's. It's just like some interior paint, but you can also put chalk paint in your sprayer. But y'all, this right here just made the projects go so much faster versus going out and painting, things with a brush or even just, small cans of spray paint. So I'm going to have the Critter linked to my Amazon store, but we had a great experience with it and I highly recommend it too. So now I'm going to take that leftover piece of transfer that I did not apply to the window, and I'm going to put it on the little bottom shelf of this cabinet. I thought it would be great for the background, just to add a little detail to it. So I'm going to apply it, and then once it's applied, then I'm going to show you some little knobs that I added to the drawers. These are also will be in my Amazon store. You get a bunch of these. I've been using these. When we redid the upstairs of my craft room, I put these on all my drawers. I think there was 20 something of these that come in a set. So they give you a bunch of these. So anyway, this is a little emblem, and I keep these on hand all the time, and I have several of these to choose from also in my Amazon store. But I'd ordered it a while back just to have it on hand, and I think this is a perfect project for it. So I applied it to the top cabinet just to give it some more detail. So now the little cabinet is finished. Just a couple of coats of paint and just give it a little bit of detail and a transfer and put some new little knobs on it. Now it looks totally different.
And if that someone makes you smile and leaves you with a scar, don't let them tell you what you feel or who you are. Oh, there must be more. There must be another way. There must be conscious, different things in different ways. There must be love. There must be a reason.
Now I'm going to show y'all a fun and really easy little patriotic decor piece. I'm going to take 3 of these little tags. You can get these at Dollar Tree. These come from Dollar General. But I've just painted them I painted 2 white and 1 blue. The white one will stay white, but the other white one I'm going to put some red stripes on it. But I'm going to get the middle on the blue one, and I'm going to take a stencil, and again, these stencils will be in my Amazon store. They come in a pack, and you get several small ones and big ones for a lot of patriotic type projects. It's a really good stencil pack. But I'm just going to take the star and the stripes, and I'm going to do 3 of those. And I did that little line down the middle so I would know where to line up my big star each time, and I just kind of spaced them to where I could go all the way down the little tag and put 3 on it. So now I got those on there. I'll let that dry, and once it dries, I'm going to distress that. Now I'm going to take one of the white ones, and I'm going to go and I'm going to put this stencil. It's also in this pack of stencils, and I'm going to take some red chalk paint, and I'm going to go over and go through those little stripes, and then I'm going to move my stencil over, because once I get these stripes on, then I'm going to have to scoot it over and do a couple more stripes. I think I have to do 1 more red stripe. But anyway, the way these stripes are on this stencil, it worked out perfect on this tag, and so you don't have to do anything now to the white area. Now these little stencils come from Dollar General. They come all the letters of the alphabet, and I think there's numbers in it. I think the whole pack was like $2.50, but I just put USA on this one in black chalk paint. And then this is what they look like after I've got them, done, and I've distressed the blue one and the striped one. And this is the stencil that I used to do the stripes, but now I'm going to take that little star section, and I'm going to add just a few little stars here and there to my little blue tag, just to give it a little bit more detail. Now I'm going to show you a couple more things that I did for my little patriotic vignette. I ordered a set of 12 cotton made in the U.S. These are size 4x6 little flags from Amazon. They were, I think, around the $10 range. Now, they come stapled on. I didn't like the little staples showing, so I just took them off, and I'm going to add some hot glue to them to attach them back to the little poles. And I stained them in coffee just to give them more of a little Americana look. That is just totally optional. And if you want to stain flags like that, always make sure they're made of cotton, because the cotton ones will stain a lot better than that little polyester fabric. Now this right here is one of those garden flags, the boots that you see in the background. That's also in my Amazon store, and I have a couple of options of this. The boots come in that tan color like I got, and they also come in a gray. I love both of them. But so you can use that for a little garden flag, but I thought this would be a great piece as a backdrop for our patriotic vignettes. Okay, the next project is a real trash to treasure. I found this on the side of the road. Ben and I walk every morning about 3 miles, and every morning I'm always looking for a treasure that somebody has thrown out. Well, there was this piece of, I don't know, it's just a scrap wood. It was laying on the side of the road. It was very aged, and Ben was like, "Don't pick that up." And I was like, "I'm getting it." Not that I don't have enough scrap wood already, but I don't know. It just kind of spoke to me. So I came home, I washed it up. I chalk painted it, and I chalk painted it lightly because I wanted a lot of that distressing just to come through. So I'm just going to go over it with one of my stencils, and a lot of times I have people ask, how do I store my craft supplies, and especially my stencils? I hang them on hangers with binder clips, and then you just hang them up. So I just took a part of a stencil, and always I have a huge stencil category in my Amazon store, and that one is in there also. So I just added that stencil to the little block of wood, and a free project, and it makes a great shelf sitter, and I think it looks great on our little upcycled cabinet. And again, a little bit more inspiration and ideas. I always pick up little rusty, crusty things if I see them laying on the ground. And for some reason, one day I ran across this it was a soda pop lid that had been crushed and rusted, and I picked it up and saved it. And I just made a little messy bow. I went across my antique stencil, and then I just kind of gave it a little bit more of a distressed, worn look, added the messy bow and the little you know, the little crusty embellishments. Just another little idea for our little scrap wood project. Okay, y'all, it is coming toward the end of the video, and if you are still here, thank you so much for hanging in with me and watching, and I hope you enjoyed all the projects I made. I wanted to let y'all know if y'all see a new feature on my YouTube channel page. It is called Super Thanks, and I was eligible for it through YouTube to, implement this, and you can see it right there where it says Super Thanks. But if you click on it, you can donate to my channel. This in no way is an obligation for you to send me money, but it is a good little feature because I do have viewers all the time reaching out, want my address and wants to send me gifts. Shipping is so expensive these days, so if you did want to do something like that, this may be a better option for you, and it may save you a little money on shipping charges. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there, so if you see that, that is what it is. I also want to remind everyone that my new weekly upload will now be on Mondays at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time for the summer months. As always, y'all, I appreciate each and every one of y'all. I love y'all, and I plan to see y'all in my next video. Bye, y'all.